Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Alex, Senior Account Executive at GDMFX with your European session morning outlook. We'll start with the North American markets. We had the initial jobless claims come out 6,000 worse than expected, and also the monthly budget statement come out 6 billion worse than expected. We had a series of Fed speeches yesterday. We'll start with Fed's Yellen Speech. Her reluctance to discuss the central bank's interest rate outlook made dollar bulls nervous. In her opening remarks, Yellen said nothing about the possibility of an interest rate increase at the Fed's December policy meeting. Alright, now we have Fed's Stanley Fischer speech. He was talking about the effects of a stronger dollar on US activity and inflation. He said it could be appropriate to raise the rates in December. We also had Fed's William Dudley speech. He wants more evidence to see if economy will drive further job growth. A quote from him is, when it comes to lifting the Fed's short-term interest rate target off near zero levels, I can't tell you today precisely what I'd favor doing in the future because that future remains uncertain, Mr. Dudley said. We had Bullard also speak. He is a prominent hawk who is ready to raise interest rates. He said that the United States and other industrial nations may nevertheless be entering an era of permanently low rates and inflation that will require a rethink of monetary policy. We also had Fed's Lacker speech. He also neglected to discuss the interest rates. And Fed's Evans speech, he said the central bank is close to reaching its employment target, but it could be well into next year before the goal for inflation is reached to support a rate hike. So he would like to wait till the inflation target is hit. The Dow Jones moved or ended 23 points down, the Nasdaq 51 points down, and the DIX is down to 98.74 from 98.87. As far as Tier 1 news, for today we have retail sales month on month and retail sales ex autos month on month. And Tier 2 is producer price index year on year. Alright, we can move on to the European markets. We had industrial production month on month from the EuroZone come out 0.2% better than expected at negative 0.3%, and year on year 0.4% better than expected at 1.7%. We also had a speech by Mario Draghi. He took a dovish tone on ECB bond buying. He said the ECB would re-examine its policy in December. The central banker said that the ECB would closely monitor the risks to price stability and thoroughly assess the strength and persistence of the factors that are slowing the return of inflation to the ECB's medium-term target of just below 2%. The DAX 30 is 120 points down and the CAC 40 is 100 down. Early this morning, Germany's GDP data was released. It was overall slightly better than expected or as expected. Later in the day, we'll be waiting for Mario Draghi's second speech. Alright, on to the UK markets. The British house price growth accelerated in October. This was fueled once again by a shortage of new homes coming to the market. This is what the RICS Housing Price Balance Indicator told us yesterday. British blue chip stocks dropped by the most in 6 weeks on Thursday, leaving the benchmark FTSE 100 at its lowest level in more than a month. Later in the day, there is a Tier 3 news, the CB Leading Economic Index. Okay, on to the Asian and Pacific markets. We had some news from Japan. Industrial production year on year raised from previous negative 0.9% to negative 0.8%. The industrial production month on month is now 1.1%, up from previous 1%. And the Japanese tertiary industry index month on month dropped to negative 0.4% from previous 0.2%. In the Pacific, with the strengthening of the US dollar, commodity exporters are getting hammered. Australia is on a crossroad of improving domestic conditions and increasing foreign risk exposure. This has set dispute whether the Royal Bank of Australia will lower or actually increase the cash rate in the months to come. On Sunday, we're going to have New Zealand retail sales month on month and quarter on quarter. For commodities, we had the crude oil stock exchange come out 4.2 million barrel crude inventory rise by last week against a market expectation for a 1.3 million barrel gain. US crude fell for a third session in a row on Friday to the lowest in over 2 months as a relentless climb in oil stockpiles helped trigger a 10% drop in prices since the start of November, with traders taking on bets on further falls. Gold fell to a fresh 5.5-year low as investors continued to stake their bets on December interest rate hike by the Federal Reserve following comments from a host of influential policymakers from the US Central Bank yesterday. Gold had a range of $14, trading at $1,082 now. Silver had a range of 29 cents at $14.25 now. WTI had almost $2 range at $41.53, and gas is trading at $2.28 at the moment with a range of 11 cents. Today is the natural gas storage change. Alright everybody, thank you for the attention. That was today's European Session Outlook. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.